Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of. Actually, I haven't even named this. Live Narrations. Tonight's story is Alone in the Woods by Honeybunny00. I was in college, female, and taking a course in outdoor survival. The course ended with a 3-day, 3-night wilderness solo. We were allowed to take a backpack, empty canteen, sleeping bag, knife, 6 matches, rope, a sheet of plastic, change of clothes, extra socks, halazone tablets, small cooking pot and spoon. We were not allowed to bring food or water, since part of our training was in identifying edibles and finding a water source. Once I was dropped off, I had to hike in to find a spot to set up camp. First, I had to place a flag on a tree near my drop-off point so that I could be located 3 days later for pickup. I was loving life, just me in nature. I had no fears, even as night began to fall. I enjoyed the sounds of the woods all around me and didn't mind not having a tent. I built a small fire and had a great feeling of peace. I slept well that night, but woke up thirsty. My search for a water source began. Happily, I found a muddy stream, let the water settle in my pot, placed the tablets in the water, and boiled it for good measure. Yuck, what a crappy taste. But at least I was hydrated. All went well and I had a great time. Until my last day. It was early afternoon on the last day, and time to break camp. I cleaned up my camp area and hiked out to my drop-off spot. As I sat, leaning against a tree, I heard a sound of a vehicle off in the distance. Figured that it had to be my pickup. As I waited, a vehicle that I had never seen before pulled up on the dirt path in front of me. Immediately, I realized that I did not know the man who was driving. He gave me an odd look. My gut told me he was bad news. He asked what I was doing there and if I was alone. I said that my friends were behind me breaking camp. He gave me a knowing look, got back in his vehicle, and rode off. I was terrified. I knew that I had to hide, and fast. I ran into the woods and hid. As I ran, I heard the car come back. I stayed as quiet as I could and remained hidden. I heard him get out of the car. I could hear him calling to me and walking through the brush looking for me. I was so afraid. Eventually, he gave up and I heard the car door slam, the engine start, and the car pull away. Going back to my drop-off point was not an option. So I began hiking through the woods, hoping I would find base camp. After walking for what felt like hours, I saw a forest ranger. I told him who I was and what had happened to me. He told me that I had done the right thing since a young woman had been raped the night before, and the police and Forest Service had been searching the area. Happily, he drove me to the base camp where I had learned that another girl in my class had had a creepy encounter with the man the night before. She had scared him away by blowing a brass whistle until help arrived. Is there anything to be learned from this? It is being sure to always trust your gut. It is to be sure to always trust your gut feelings and never camp alone. Wow. This was a really short story. Let's see if I can find another one, just for funsies. Let's just click that button. Let's see what this one gives me. Random story. Alright, another one by Honeybunny00. The Man in the Doorway. It was a normal Saturday. I had woken up super early and decided to just be lazy all day. Around 10 p.m., I decided to get into bed and watch some South Park. I had fallen asleep around midnight, I think. The actual encounter happened very fast. I had woken up at 4:43 a.m. with an overwhelming feeling of dread. It was dark, but it only took me a few seconds for my eyes to adjust to my surroundings. I looked at my clock with his right next door. Holy crap. I looked at my clock, which is right next to the door, and I noticed a figure standing in the doorway, no more than 8 feet from me. He was staring at me with the sickest He was staring at me with the sickest grin I have ever seen. The guy was a fucking monster, ugly and as big as hell. I froze. I had no idea what was happening. I jumped out of bed after a few seconds and yelled, "Who is that? Get the fuck out of here now!" As I rushed to the door to slam it shut, the man slowly closed the door, still staring at me with that malice grin. I locked the door and heard heavy footsteps walk away very slowly. This guy wasn't here to rob me, I can tell you that. The way he shut my door was too calm for any two-bit thief that just got caught. I heard him walk to the basement door and he left. I immediately called the cops and they showed up within minutes. They did a walkthrough of my house and just chalked it up some drunk guy wandering through houses. I told them that this guy could have been watching me for hours for all I knew, but they obliviously dismissed it. They left and I woke up my floor mate, a girl, who was asleep throughout the whole ordeal. She had gotten in a few hours after I fell asleep. She said she locked both the deadbolt and the normal lock. They were both unlocked. Well, simple solution. I changed the locks. Fine. But the thing that worries me the most is that this guy specifically came into my house. I don't know how he got in. And I don't know if he's watching me or someone in the house. But I am freaked the fuck out. Once I told everyone that I was home, they didn't seem very concerned. What the fuck? I guess their opinions would change if they had seen this man like I had. His grin was so eerie, and his face was all messed up. But the way he just calmly shut my door as I charged towards him is actually nauseating. Wow, these stories are like super short. Holy crap. Alright, I guess I'm gonna pick one more random one, because why the hell not? Let's click. That one's got 1.3 thousand stars. Let's read these. Sure. Um, wow, okay. Well, you guys decided to come hang out and watch me stare at my phone. I apologize. So, this will be the last one. It's another super short one, but honestly, I don't know where else to go for this. Another short one for you. All right. This one is called "Pretending to be Asleep Does Not Work" by GamerGirl1001. A young boy is sleeping in his bed on a usual night. He hears footsteps outside his door and peeks out at it. Okay, there are a lot of misspellings in this, so bear with me. A young boy is sleeping in his bed on a usual night. He hears footsteps outside his door and peeks out of his eyes to see what is happening. His door swings open quietly to reveal a murderer carrying the corpse of his parents. After silently popping them up on a chair, he writes something on the wall in the blood of the dead bodies. He then hides under the child's bed. The child is scared beyond belief. He can't read the writing on the wall, and he knows the man is under his bed. Like any child, he pretends that he slept through the whole thing and hasn't awoken yet. He lays still as the bodies, quietly hearing the breaths, and it's written out, but I'll say it correctly, quietly hearing the breaths from under his bed. An hour passes, and his eyes are adjusting more and more to the darkness. He tries to make out the words, but it's a struggle. He gasps when he finally makes out the sentence. "I know you're awake." He feels something shift from underneath his bed. Alright, that was that last story. Alright, 2 randos. Welcome back. Yeah, I use creepypasta.org sometimes. I just saw this because this app, what the hell is it called? Wattpad. I just saw this because CCG had mentioned she wanted to hear Alone in the Alone in the Woods story. So I was like, okay, Alone in the Woods, scary stories. And literally, this is the first thing that popped up. So short notice, got it. Um, I recommend Wattpad to a degree. Apparently, all their short stories are very short. So if you're looking for some small tidbits that you guys are wanting to narrate, or even if you want to write and post some of your own stuff on here, they'd have it completely free, I suppose. So I'm going to check it out a little bit more. Not that I'm getting paid by them. Wish, but kind of cool. Thank you all for joining me tonight. 10 minutes and 50 seconds. Wow, this sucks. This is probably the shortest one I got. All right. Bear with me. Actually, you know what? I should probably sit here in silence for 5 minutes so the real ones will at least hang out until the end, because I might just go ahead and find another story. I can't do y'all like this. This is messed up. I can freestyle a story. Thanks, Boggs. I appreciate you. Creepypasta.org. I really need to try that. But my phone's being a piece of crap. So I guess I'll leave you guys with this. Actually, I have nothing. I'm just going to have to leave you guys. My apologies, and I'll do better next time. Do you guys like the background? I know it's making my stuff all glitchy. There's a fire back there. Good night.